feel like that's like a signature movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Talk to Them. I'm your host, Kenitha Wade.
And I'm your other host, Renata Mitchell.
And today we have
with us...
everybody, my name is Neal Brown.
Welcome.
Right. Yes, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we'll do our little check-in for the week, which has been, I don't know, I feel like the week has flown by. I didn't do the normal stuff I do. I didn't go to the open mic on Friday. So it feels a little weird. But it's been I don't know. I don't have much to share about this week.
No, what did you do yesterday?
I did the walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the wealthy walk. That was a good walk. Now my feet hurt though. And which is funny because my feet haven't been hurting from those long walks. But we walked from Lloyd Center to Jeff and then back to the Lloyd Center yesterday. And it was a good walk. I think it took about 55 minutes to get to Jeff. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of led the way on the way back and I left everybody. I was just walking my normal pace, And so when we're doing the walk and sometimes I'm in the middle, I kind of struggle with I want to walk faster. Mm-hmm. And so, but this time I was in the front. So I was just walking. I was blocks ahead of people, but it was good. I was just walking I'm going to get there when I get there. And there were some folks I was trying to catch up with you, but that would cool.
Yeah, so maybe walk at your own pace.
Yeah. People just starting to try to walk faster, but it was good. It was a good walk. There were a lot of people that showed up. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many. I'm sure there are some pictures online to show everybody who was there, but it was a good walk. I don't know what next week's walk would be. I wish that we knew leaving what the next walk would be. That way we could share on the podcast to get people to show up. But we'll share on Facebook or Instagram or something what next week's plan is. But it's going to be every Saturday at 9 a.m. The walk is about 2.5 miles each direction, sometimes a little more. So it's good. Just get out there, walk, get to moving and talk to some folks and check in. And so, yeah, I've been enjoying it.
What's up?
Yeah. That's it.
I wanted to make there for that yesterday, but I had my daughter's soccer game, so I couldn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely make the next one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. My week, I've still been off work. I'd wanted to take some time off to, prevent burnout, but I still got this stuff going on with my eye, and it's looking at computer screens is crazy, and just, I don't know. It's been irritating, so I haven't taken the time to relax like I wanted to and really just do some me stuff. Mm-hmm. I've kind of done some stuff around the house, getting stuff organized and set up for, the different recording stuff we got going on, and my crafting area. It's all coming together. We ordered some chairs, and they sent chairs without arms. And it was which would be fine if that's what I ordered, you know what I'm saying? But that's not what I ordered. So I'm like, hey, can y'all send us the arms? And they're they asked me 50 different ways what parts of the arms are missing. And I'm like, okay, so I ordered these chairs, right? We put them together. There's nothing else in the box, and there's no arms for the chairs. So what do you mean what pieces are missing? I can't tell you. There are no arms. There's no pieces. Then they sent me, they're like, can you look at the manual and tell me what's missing? No, the arms are missing. They're not there. They're like, well, the arms come in several different pieces. We need to know what pieces are missing. All of the pieces are missing. So it was back and forth and back. And they're like, well, we'll, what's irritating is that they put me through all that. And then they said, okay, well, we don't have extra pieces just laying around, so we'll just send you another chair.
So what was the point?
my sentiments exactly. Why are you hounding me about what pieces of the chairs are missing when you're going to send me a whole chair anyway?
Exactly. And wasting everybody's time.
It took 3 weeks to get to this point, and they only answer emails once a day, and it's at 10:30 at night, so I'm not on there looking at my emails at that hour. I was so annoyed. I was like, all of this and you gonna send me chairs? I was like, you could have just told me that from the beginning. I told you from the, and they're like, oh, so you're saying I will show you the messages. I was so annoyed. I was like, okay, whatever. Then they're like, well, here's the tracking information. Well, then I go to the shipping site that they used, and it keeps saying anonymous something cannot be found. And I'm like, so I messaged them like, can y'all send me the tracking information because it's not allowing me to track it? No response. And then yesterday, I forgot why Donald went outside, but I heard a bunch of noise and I'm like, sometimes you'd be like, what are they doing? And sometimes you'd be like, I don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, maybe he's just moving some stuff around. I'm not. Then I come out my room to go to the kitchen to get some ice and I'm like, where are these boxes come from? So I don't know how long they've been sitting on my porch, but the boxes, the chairs they were delivered. Nobody said anything. They didn't email me. The shipping company, I still couldn't track it. So it's like, whatever. So now they're just sitting in my living room waiting to go downstairs to be put together. But everybody's so frustrated with putting stuff together at this point because that's not the only thing that was missing something that had to be replaced. The other thing was easy. They just was like, boom, here you go. Then my drone got lost at the neighbor's house. They replaced that. And then the neighbor brought me my drone. So now I have two. But I don't know. So I don't know. I'm saying all that to say my week was okay because I didn't have to deal with like work stuff while trying to heal. But then that stuff was frustrating, but at least that came to an end.
Mm-hmm.
Had the mic on Friday. It was interesting. It was for the first time in a long time. It was like 90% people who did music of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
We had the professor. He's always dope with his harmonica and his blues. Singing. The professor is dope.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one guy that plays all the things that makes all the noises. Yes. But was like he started out that way, like playing like what we thought was random noises, but it looked like he was building his beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he built his beat and then he actually played the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, oh, so like he really does do music. You just can't tell from the previous weeks. But then there was a cat in there and that jacked me up.
There was a cat in a hat.
There was a cat in a hat. Like literally a guy walking around with a cat this big, a little baby cat, a little black cat. He was cute for, and I'm allergic to animals, so I don't really do them like that. But, little bitty cat. And he was holding it in his fitted, like walking around like this. She said he thought he was breaking down weed, and then he looked, and it was like he's like, "Oh no, there's a cat in that hat." He was going like this.
And so he said he thought he was breaking down some weed, and then he was like, "Oh no, that's a cat in that hat."
I was like, "What?" And then he got offended because I wouldn't shake his hand. And I'm like, "Listen, I am allergic in a major way." Like he kind of got, I don't know, low key offended or whatever, and he extended his hand. And I was like, oh no. I'm like, first of all, since COVID, well, before COVID, I didn't like people touching me anyway, but COVID happened and I really didn't want people touching me. And then you want to shake my hand while you been holding this cat? I'm like, no, thank you. But he took offense or whatever and was like, I wasn't gonna shake your hand anyway. And I was like, and she looked at me and I was like, okay. Like, cause I was like, I'm about that close. But anyway, I just like, I let that go or whatever. And I told you, I was like, I'm trying not to be, an asshole. And he's like, but you are. It's like, whatever. So we had that conversation. Oh, his friend, because they're a duo. Well, there's really like a little group of young dudes that come in and do music. And I respect them as being young dudes or whatever. But he said, I forgot how the conversation started, but he was like, he thought he scared me with his performance. And I was like, why would you, like, it's just a performance. Why would I be scared?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, well, I didn't know that old heads listen to my kind of music. And I was like, wow. I said, oh. I said, how old are you? And he was like, I'm 25 or 24, about to be 25. I said, okay. I mean, I get it, but like, don't get mushed in your face. Like, you have to go there.
Right.
And then fast forward. So I was like, am I really getting old? Do I need to like check something? Because we go in fast forward and the dude who had the cat situation, he apologized, he's like, I guess he felt like he was being rude, but I think he was joking, but he's more like, us, and he's a little drier with his jokes. So it don't land all the time. And so he was like apologizing or whatever. We're talking and he was like, because GB running around telling people I be pimping him out and I'm the boss and this, that, and the other. And we're really a team. We're a group, all of us. And we all have equal say and stuff, but whatever. So he just told him that. And by this time, I'm having a reaction to the cat, and I'm not realizing that. So I'll talk to Kanitha the next day. But I'm like, I need to go. My eye hurts. I'm tired. Like all this stuff. And he was like, well, yeah, you should be able to leave because you're the boss, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not the boss, whatever. But he was like, yeah, because you like a real auntie, huh? And I was like, what the is happening? Like, what is this? I'm like, okay, yeah, granted, I'm 42, but like, why are y'all like
they was coming for you?
Yeah. I hella felt, I'm like, y'all not calling them unk and then telling them they old heads. Well, I mean, I guess he did kind of call all of us old heads, but yeah, I felt some type of way. So that was my Friday. And then I overslept. And so I didn't go to the walk, but I'm definitely going to be there next week. And then I was minding my business and I went to bed earlier and I was going to be like, hey, you want to go to the gym before the podcast in the morning? But I didn't do that. And I'm glad I didn't do that because she called me and we were talking and we didn't get off the phone until 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah. I heard him out in the
super tired. But we had a good conversation because we were talking about how, well, he was saying that I expect me out of other people. And I was like, I don't think it's that. I just expect a level of adulthood, responsibility, respect, and accountability out of other people. It doesn't have to be the way that I do it, but I don't know. So we was going back and forth and but he brought me around. He was like, you just got to let people be them. And I'm like, fine, I'll let people be them, but it's wrong.
He does too.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think we're talking about somebody who's not personal to us and how they move and how I didn't like it. And he was like, fuck them. I was like, it's easy for you to say because it's not you. But that was pretty much my week. Now I'm here. But I'm not as tired as I expected to be, so that's good.
Well, good. Yeah, and we can go to the gym after. I was thinking about that this morning. I can always go to the gym. I got a bag in the car.
Okay.
How's your week been, Neal?
Man, my week has been pretty busy, actually. You know, I'm a big-time family man, so I'm always trying to be there for my kids and my wife and things like that. So I had a daughter who just turned 16 last weekend, so she had a sleepover and a party and all that kind of stuff. I have an adult daughter who helps coach track and field for high school and middle school, so I went to a track meet to support her and the kids and things like that. And then I also coach my son's 7th grade soccer team, and so doing games with him. And then I also refed my 7-year-old daughter's game yesterday as well. So they just keep me pretty busy, going to STEAM events at their schools and things like that. So yeah, just staying busy work-wise. It's the busiest time of our year. I work for the city at one of the local community centers, and so we hire a lot of young people for our camps and things like that. So I'm setting up interviews and hiring young people and kind of just evaluating them and sharing back with them, what how they can improve if they need to, or, bringing them on board and sending them behind paperwork. So it's just been, super busy, but that's what I like. And, makes my days go by. It keeps me out of trouble. So I look forward to, busy weeks like that.
That's dope.
Definitely keep you out of trouble.
So what's it like, the process of interviewing and hiring the youth? Because when I think about my kids, and if I know them personally, so if I had to interview them as who they are at home, I think that'd be interesting. But I feel like, just like we come and put our best foot forward at interviews and stuff like that, they kind of, do they tend to step up in their skills and abilities and personalities, or do they just come in like, hey, I want this job?
They actually step up, because in our process, they actually have to go through what is called NeoGov, and they have to go through a process, and they have to get accepted. And then once they get onto our what I want to call it, our hiring list, then we can get in contact with them. So they kind of already prepping. They really want to do the job because they're not going to waste their time to go through the process they have to go through in order to get to the interview process. And then we either do the interviews in person or online, kind of whatever works best for the candidate, because we want to make it easiest for them and most comfortable. Now, also with our process, we're able to send them the questions 24 hours in advance. So they have a chance to actually really study the questions, so they can come to the interview with their best foot forward and things like that. So it really has been nice to have that kind of process with them, because it makes them more prepared. Because I've been with the city where they've only had 15 minutes to look at questions, and 15 minutes versus 24 hours is a big difference, especially when you're working with young people where this could be their first job. So it's nice for them to kind of have that time to really think things through, and then it really shows with some of them that take the time. Some of them don't take the time, but with the ones that take the time, you can really tell.
Yeah. Well, and that's look good for them because when I first did my Neal.gov, I was like, oh my God, this is, I mean, obviously they are not going to have as much information to put in, but that's a process. So that alone says a lot about them if they want to go through that whole process. And then that it is nice, even as an adult, it's nice to get questions more than 15 minutes. Cause I've been in that situation where they're like, here's your questions and we're going to get started in about 10 minutes. And I'm like, it's a good thing I'm quick at, thinking on my feet and that I'm applying for a job where I know what I'm doing, because if you didn't, that could be rough. So I appreciate it when they give the questions 24 hours. And I feel like that's, especially for the kids, setting them up for a certain level of success.
Exactly.
And then you get to see also who they are. You've had 24 hours to prepare for this. So
yeah, because we also know that everybody has different resources, and so that 15 minutes isn't really going to be equitable for everybody. Everybody needs has different backgrounds and different things, the way they process things. So we want to give them the best, like I said, the best advantage possible.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, like our interviews, they come in. There's no, you don't get the questions. I mean, you might find them on Reddit or something.
Wow.
If you look ahead, and I'm sure they're out there. But yeah, a lot of people come in. It's a 10-minute interview, and a lot of the time I'm reviewing your application, I'm talking to you, and then at the end it's like, read these 4 questions out loud and answer them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I mean, I guess that's the field.
I mean, the difference is, they should know what they're coming in for.
That's what I was going to say.
You're
A
applying for an
10-minute
apprenticeship
interview.
program, so that's a whole different situation. But at the same time, yeah, there is no, the prep is, we do offer like mock interviews and stuff like that. And I don't give people the questions because I feel like that could be a conflict of interest, just because we got to make sure everybody gets the same treatment. But I try to tell them things to think about. Think about your job history. Think about this. Think about the things you've done. It doesn't even have to be paid experiences that count as your job history. So don't only think about what jobs you've had, but like tasks that you've done and things like that. And anyway, so yeah, but that's a cool process.
Yeah, I remember even myself, and as being a permanent employee, I got caught up in that, was just kind of focusing on the things I was doing within my organization. And I kept getting kind of passed over a couple of times. And so one of my mentors was like, if you're doing the exact same thing that everybody else is doing, but they're doing something outside that you don't know about, that's probably what's happening. So I was like, they're right. So now I started doing stuff not only within my organization, but outside the organization. So those are extra things that I could bring to the table. And that's what eventually got me over the hump to where I am now. So definitely, reaching out and doing things outside of what your normal things is, and what everybody sees, is definitely important. So
yeah, I know on my resume, I have all my clubs, my groups, my committees, my businesses, all of that is on my resume, because at the end of the day, podcasting has a set of skills. Throwing paint and tips has a set of skills. Comedy shows, my poetry groups, the fact that I do poetry, all that stuff has a set of skills.
absolutely.
And it may not have anything to do with housing, but it may have enough to do with, like, okay, you can see I can run a business. I can help create a flow of show. Like, there's a lot of skills that you can pull from those things. And we've had this conversation before about telling the kids that, you got to think about all the things you do, even the things you do around the house. All of that is a skill. It's not just what you've been paid to do. So that's dope.
Yeah. And another nice thing too is, like, we can mentor the kids into other skills, and so we can keep them on longer. If if they're going to stay in town, if they're college and they're going to stay in town, they can do like front desk work, or just train them in different things to try and keep them on board. And then eventually, if they are interested in staying on, they can get a full-time position or something like that. So we have a lot of people who have kind of went through the different stages. Even young people who have been in our camps, they're now have been counselors and now lead counselors and so forth. So it's just a way to kind of like bring them in and keep them involved.
Okay. And do they have to be 18, or is it 16 or 14?
For camp counselor, 15.
Okay.
Also, we have lifeguards and stuff like that too, which is 15. To be a lead counselor, though, you need to be 18.
Okay, that's dope. I like that. These kids can work if that's what they want to do. Like, I'm not forcing my kids to work, but they both have job opportunities this summer, and they're both interested in doing so. So, I'm excited for them to have their own money.
Yeah, it is nice when they do. My 16-year-old has been working, and she has her own money, and my 13-year-old, he does weekend work with his grandfather, so he pays him a little something on the side, and so they're kind of learning the value of money and things like that. So it's really cool.
Right, because until they do, they think that mom got it, dad got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot.
Like, I don't know where y'all think I'm about to get this from, but I don't got it. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's cool.
All right. This week, we'll be talking about creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity, and I feel like that's all. I feel like that's just a big topic for us because that's what we do, right? I've been on this, like, I've been watching these reels of like date nights and just events where group events of people are painting pictures of each other.
Yeah, those are hilarious.
And one person paints a picture and it looks like the other person. The other person paints a picture and it looks like an alien.
What the hell?
I can tell you mine would be what the hell.
Yeah.
But I really want to do that.
And we're gonna do that. And as you know what, it's gonna be one side where it looks all nice and we really tried. That's gonna be me, you, Ari, and that other side is gonna be like, what are y'all? This is how you see me.
I want to get a group of people together and everybody has to paint somebody different, and I just want to see what happens.
Oh my gosh.
So
She trying to break up relationships.
Well, see, my wife knows I can't draw, so I'll be all right.
You know, it'll be fun.
Yeah,
It'll
but
be a
it's
fun
still
experience.
like, but this is what came out of your brain for me. Like, okay.
I'm like, I don't know if I should sort of prep canvases or just give them a blank canvas.
No, blank.
Yeah,
We all
blank.
gotta figure it out.
Gotta be blank.
Yeah.
But I want to do that, and I want to do that with the kids too.
Yeah.
Oh, the kids, I feel like this will be hilarious because they are going to clown.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they're going to try, but they're also going to clown.
It's gonna be fun. So, what kind of classes do the kids get to come up with the classes that they teach or whatever you guys are doing at the?
Yes and no. I mean, I have a coordinator where she kind of sets up the parameters and things like that, but then they can get creative within that. So sometimes, we might do a different theme for the week. So, we might have like Animal Week. I'm just throwing things out there. It might be a sports week. It might be, we might do like a 4th of July week during, that week of 4th of July. Might be just all kinds of different activities and things like that. And then all the activities based off those themes and things like that. So they can get creative within that. We also send them through training to make sure they are first aid CPR, trained and all that stuff, so they can make sure they take care of the kids. But yeah, they can get a little creative, within their games and stuff that they're doing outside. They can get creative with those based on the themes, or they can just do things like that. They can also ask the kids kind of things they want to do. We try to make it really interactive for them, so everybody's having fun, but being safe at the same time.
Yeah. That's cool. That's also building a lot of skills and character and like leadership and stuff like that. I like the idea of helping them to figure out how to expand their brains, basically. Because if you just giving them a task, like, okay, this is what you're doing, then, I mean, they might still take pride in it, but there's something about kind of creating that'll help them buy in and be proud of. And this is what I did this summer.
Exactly.
That's
And,
dope.
getting resume building, again, like you were saying, skill sets. If they plan on not staying with the city and doing something else, they can still say, like, this is what I did. I created this, or I did this within these parameters and things like that. So it's definitely something they can take with them anywhere they go.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, Mariah. This week I encouraged the kids because we live in Gresham, and they got to get home from school. And I'm like, I get tired of driving from my house to pick them up and back home. That's a good hour and a half drive.
Sure.
And if there's traffic, it might be longer. So I'm like, why don't y'all take the bus? And Mariah is all for it. But Nevaeh, on the other hand, is like, I don't know. I'm like, y'all can go together. The only way you're going to learn is if you do it, right? And so they did. They took the bus. The Max was shut down or something. There's some work going on, so they had to actually transfer buses. And so they took the bus and they get to Gresham Station. And first Nevaeh is like, Mom, I thought you were going to be here. I'm like, well, how was I supposed to know what time you were going to get there if you didn't tell me? Right? You know your schedule. I'm at home waiting to hear when I should come pick you up. And ain't nobody said nothing. So, like, I don't read minds. And she's like, oh, I guess I should have told you. Yeah, you should have told me if you wanted me to be there when you got there.
Exactly.
But, so whatever. So they start walking around. And Nevaeh is a kid who, she likes to stay in the house. She don't like to really leave her bedroom most of the time. Mariah be wanting to be outside. She'd be like, come on, let's go to the mall. Let's go to the park. Or let's walk around. Or let's get on the bus. And Nevaeh be like, no. Period. Just no. And so they get to Gresham Station because they got to walk around. Mariah's like, let's go in here. So they go in Zoomies. And Nevaeh has discovered a store that she is like, oh my gosh, they have everything that I like in here. It's like, yeah, well, if you go outside sometimes,
you'll find that.
You'll find things that you like. And she's just like, wow, like I like everything in the store. So now she's excited to take the bus back home. I'm like, good, because that saves me some gas.
Man,
I am tired of driving all the way over there to pick y'all up. Y'all got to wait until whatever time because I got to drop off other siblings at basketball practice. And I got, I can't just be there when y'all get out of school. I got to wait. So y'all going to sit on in Northeast Portland for 3, 4, 5 hours waiting for me to come get you, or you can get on the bus and head this way.
Yeah.
And so it's been nice. But now Mariah is like, Mom, can you help me with a resume? Because now she want to work at Zoomies.
Okay.
And this is her dream job now.
Okay.
She's like, I got to work there. That's where I belong.
That's cool though. That's what
it
she
is.
Said, yeah.
And I've been trying to talk to them about how to really think about your experiences and put them down on a resume. Even though we go to basketball games and she'll help out with the concession stands, or she's volunteering to do it, but it's like you're taking money in exchange for stuff. You're selling stuff. You're running a cash register.
Customer service.
It's like, think about all the things that you do just for fun or just because. All of that stuff is a skill set. It's a job that you've done. You haven't had to be hired for it, but you do it, right, on a regular basis. And she's like, I never thought about that. It's like, well, a lot of things are like that. That's why I try to get y'all to do stuff outside the house. When you go to the barbershop and you sweeping up and making money on tips because you helping out, cleaning up in between customers and whatnot, that's work. It's still something that you're doing. Those are things that you can put on a resume. So you don't have to have official jobs or to say I worked for such and such from this date to this day, but in the summer or whatever, this is what I do. And so really trying to get them to think though, because I'm like, I know some of the answers to these questions, but you got to pull from your experiences and think outside the box.
Yeah,
exactly.
What experience do you have that could be used as something to say, I do have some skills for a job, or I'm able to do this kind of work. And so she's thinking along those lines. Nevaeh, not so much, but she'll get there.
And I'm having that. It's weird too, because my younger one is the one who's like, so what do I do? And how do I, so we're working on what her resume would look like. And, just like telling them the same thing. Like, okay, when you worked for Balance Entertainment doing the pop-ups, what did you do? And they're like, well, what do you mean? We just helped you. I'm like, okay, but step by step, what did you do? Y'all set up. Well, I'm not telling them this, but I'm like, what were the things that you did to help get us ready for the pop-up? So we set up, and Renata was like, and I sold chili and lemonade and this. Okay. So yeah, you worked with money. You were doing some little bit of food handling. You did setup and breakdown. You had some customer service going on. I mean, they eventually ran off and left us, but for a minute, there were some things you were working through. All that goes on your resume. So working with that with her, my son's trying to figure out how to get money without getting a job. So I'm like, you're going to have to figure that out. He's about to be 17, so he needs to start figuring out how to support his life. Because his shoe size and the rate in which he continues to grow, I cannot continue to support after he turns 18. Only because there's no reason you can't be supporting yourself. Now, if you're in school and you got these goals and you're super focused on school, then yeah, I can help you. But that's not his testimony. He's going to be like, okay, journeyman situation, what do I need to do? And then, in that process, he can take care of himself. But I need him to be a little more motivated. He's just way too relaxed about the whole idea. Like, he's excited about the idea of getting a job, but he's also not doing anything to prepare himself to do that. And I don't want to push, like, I'm like, you gotta get a job, but like at the same time, you say you want all these things that are above and beyond what my finances can do for us right now. You're going to have to figure it out. Anytime I've been told no, somebody couldn't afford to do something for me, I found a way to get some money. Work before I was, older. And I'm not, obviously, they're not me, yada, yada, yada. But like, I was babysitting and doing yard work and helping my friend's mom lay down floors and all kinds of stuff. Like, me and my best friend helped her mom lay down floors at her house, and she wouldn't do it. Her mom was like, yeah, she didn't know that I was going to pay her, but now I'm going to pay y'all She got mad because her mom gave us like $200. It was just like a trailer, like the living room or whatever. Took all the floors up, put all the floors down. We should have charged her more, but whatever. We was just doing it for the fun of it and the experience. But I think my kids haven't had those same opportunities for experiences as we did. So maybe when you start remodeling, we need to bring them by and be like, you know what you could do over here?
Yeah, I'm recruiting. Anybody who want to volunteer. You might not get no money, but you get some experience.
They're gonna get some experience. There's nothing wrong with them learning, some stuff.
I got a project. I got bathrooms to fix. And these are problems that need to be fixed. It's not like I just want to remodel just because, to make it more profitable or anything like that. There's just so much work that needs to happen on 2 houses, my house and my other house, that I'm like, oh, I got to recruit. Maybe I've been thinking about ways to make this work for kids, but trying to be creative, but also make it fun, but also something that a skill set that they can take away. There are a lot of pre-apprenticeship programs out there that offer opportunities for adults. And not to say that I don't want to put kids in a dangerous situation. I don't think it would be dangerous, but just giving them an opportunity to help out and making sure, just little things. I think, we got to paint, we got to redo floors, we got to possibly knock down some walls and change the walls a little bit or redo some countertops, things like that. But I really I need to figure that out because that's going to be my project this summer, doing some houses.
Yeah.
How to be creative and find ways to give somebody some experience that will help them out.
So how did you get into coaching and whatnot? Was it because your kids were doing sports, or was that something you were already interested in?
Oh, no, it was something that I never wanted to do because I know I'm way too intense and I get fired up way too easily. So it's something I never wanted to do. But then my son's coaches were stepping down, but the team was staying together and they needed a coach. And so I didn't want to let the boys down. So I stepped up and decided to coach. And so I've been doing that the last 2 years, doing fall and spring the last 2 years. And so I'm here, and if they want to go through 8th grade, I'll rock with them through 8th grade. But then when they go to high school, I'm done. They'll be in their high school coach's hands. But I'll probably rock with them, through 8th grade because I don't want to leave them hanging unless they decide to, split up. But they decide to stay together. I'll stick with them for that last year and go through that. But yeah, it was just they needed somebody, and I just was like, I have enough experience. I played soccer, growing up, so I knew enough about the sport. So I figured I could, help them out. And like I said, gives me time to be with my son more and stuff like that. But not also too much because I didn't want us to butt heads. So I coached the defense and he plays offense. Yeah. So we're still there together on the field. We can instruct them. But when it comes to the skill set and the specialty, I'm on the other side. So with it, we're not having battles on the way home or anything like that.
Okay.
So
do you feel like you were able to? You said you get worked up, but are you able to like be cool or
at times? I have my moments.
Yeah.
I had some moments yesterday. Yesterday. My co-coach had to put his hands on my shoulders, like Neal, it's okay.
Yeah.
And so and I just had to put fold my arms like this and just get quiet because I was just not happy. So I'm getting better at controlling, but there are times where I can definitely feel it coming, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like that. It's passion. Like, it'd be like, come on, man. Like, especially when, calls aren't being called right and other teams are allowed to do stuff that yours isn't. And we experienced that a lot with the youth team when we were playing like with Jeff or whatever. Well, my daughter was doing volleyball while so my son, he actually started, he was at I can't think of the name of that school now on 82nd. But
McDaniel.
Yeah, but before it was McDaniel.
Madison.
I'm not calling, I guess I can't say I'm not gonna call it McDaniel. I respect it. But like like my brain, like the memories do not connect. But it was one of the teams like Jeff and Madison and like a few other teams that they just used to treat real like, y'all are ghetto, y'all are hood, we're not, XYZ, and just watching your kids be treated differently, and no matter how respectful you are as a coach and the parents are and the kids are, they still find a way to act like y'all are just this whatever team, or your coaches are like this, that. And I'm like, but they over there doing the same thing, they just doing it in a different color. you know,
Mhm.
and I'm not talking
Absolutely.
jerseys.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. So I know I've watched, like, I try to, you know, keep my cool in the stands because as a mom, well, first of all, I used to be I'm like, I will come down there. I swear for Jesus, I'll come down there. But, you know, you don't want to be the reason that the team gets, you know,
Exactly.
kicked off, you know, out or whatever. So that'd be rough even from the stands. So I
Yeah.
could just imagine, I couldn't coach. I'll flash, I'll flip out. I won't be able to do it, but it would be nice to be able to do it. I'm glad you're able to do it.
Yeah, no, yes, I enjoy it, but it definitely, you know, raises my blood pressure.
Yeah.
Definitely does. And I'm a yeller too, so I'm like always yelling, trying to give them. But the coach, you know, the family tell me they appreciate, they can hear, you know, that I'm always giving encouragement. It's like I'm always tearing them down. I'm just always trying to pump them up, and I'm just fired up. You know, even when they're shooting and they miss the goal, I'm the one who's jumping up and down and screaming and stuff like that. But because you know, I'm just excited about, you know, them, you know, executing and improving and feeling good about themselves. So again, that's why I get so fired up too when the game isn't being called right, because I can see it on their face. I can see it in their body language. So it's like, you know, trying to keep them, you know, heads up, you know, like, you know, and keep them motivated and things like that when the game isn't going our way, you know, so, yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, basketball. I didn't watch the games yesterday. G had 2 games out in Tualatin at Tualatin High School yesterday. And I stayed in the car. I was like, I'm not going to watch these games. I'm not paying to go. I get tired of all this money that comes out. You got to pay for them to play it, and you got to pay tournament fees, and then you got to pay to go in and watch them. And it's frustrating for me as a parent, especially when you got a big family every week, every day, putting all this money. So I'm like, well, I'm going to take you to your game, but I'm going to stay in the car. I'm not spending this money today. So I missed the games, and I heard when he came back, he felt like the refs were, I can't remember the phrase that he used, but they kept calling fouls on players who, for number 12, so that they would make their free throws. So they lost by 8 points, and it was all in his mind, all in the free throws that they gave to the other team. And that happens so often, though, especially when you go outside of Portland or outside of your neighborhood where you got different refs that, you know, that don't seem to call the games fair. How often that happens, and the kids get so discouraged and feel like, man, like why do they do that? And I don't know, maybe there are probably people who come to our area also and feel that same way about our refs. Who knows? I don't know, but it seems like it happens in every sport.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, you know, back when we were in high school, it was happening, you know, and it's still happening now when I go to my kids' games.
Yeah, and I'm always like, well, somehow you gotta let it just roll off your back, you know, try to figure out ways to deal with it when it's happening and not get angry and let that stop you from playing, because it can be a distraction.
But yeah, sometimes I tell the kids that's why we got to take the refs out of it. We got to make it so they can't make those calls. It's going to hurt us. Like, you know, we playing our tails off, and, you know, in soccer, if we up 2-0, as long as we do what we do to keep that lead, you know, who cares what the refs are doing?
Right.
You know, or, you know, in basketball, outscore them by 10 then if you're down 8. You know, then you win by 2. What are we going to do to get those 10 points if we know that's what they're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be rough for the kids, though, when they can see, like, this is so unfair and we're not doing anything wrong. Like, you do have to have those conversations, but you, like you said, you can see it. Like, you can see their shoulders slumping, their heads hanging, like, no. It reminds me of that video of that player who something happened, I can't remember, and he was, like, walking around with his head down, and his friend came behind him and lifted his chin up. I'm like, yeah, that's what they need. But it's hard when they all sitting there like, man, we're not even doing anything wrong. But I'm kind of glad right now none of my kids are playing sports, because I needed a break, because this one playing football and this one playing volleyball, I was annoyed 24/7, it felt like. But, and not because of them, but just because the team that they connected to, people just automatically, oh, y'all the ghetto kids, y'all the wild kids, y'all, they came in with this defensive attitude towards them immediately. And that was annoying to me. But I don't know. If they get back in it, you know, I'm going to be there hollering from the stands. But,
So where you're working, Neal, what's your ultimate goal? Do you got a goal or where you want to be, or you just like where you at? Or
right now, I'm comfortable where I am right now, just because it allows me to have the flexibility that I need to, like I said, do the coaching and things like that with my family. But eventually, I think I would, you know, eventually want to go to the next level up. But, you know, like I said, for now, I'm good where I am. You know, I'm able to mentor people, work with people, make enough money to support me and my family. But like I said, for the main part of my job, I get to interact with people, which is something I love to do. And it's something different every single day. It's it's not robotic, which is why I love it. I have a really good team that I work with, and they have a lot of different skill sets that we can all bring together and be a really dynamic unit. So it's fun to go to work and stuff like that. So it doesn't get boring. Sometimes it's a little too much excitement.
Okay.
Like was it last week, the shooting that was on 106 and Stark was not too far from my community center. So
Okay.
I ended up having to go up there and make sure people are okay, and run videotape and stuff like that to see if things are going on. So things can get a little exciting sometimes, but not too often. I'm really most of the time it's just interacting with the people, making sure that they're getting the services that they're coming into the community center for.
So you work with Big Tyler then?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I didn't know that's the community center you were talking about.
Yeah, I do work with Tyler. Tyler and I have been together since 2016. We both started at the community center at about the same time.
Okay.
I got there in July and he got there in September.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, and he handles our rentals for us.
That's cool. It's Portland be so, like, as we talk to people, we're like, oh, this person, you're connected to this person. Like, I feel like in our community, they be talking about 6 degrees of separation. I don't think Portland has that. It'd be like 1 degree of separation.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, like, I didn't know you knew Tyler before then, and then like her cousin is my cousin's cousin, and like all this stuff, like everybody is so interconnected whether you know it or not.
Yeah, and Ty's one of his younger cousins graduated with me in high school, and I mean in our graduation picture we right there next to each other, and it's nice, so it's like it's a lot of different connections. He went to school with some of my cousins, and so there's a lot of intermingling. And there's other people who then I have an uncle who I work with, at work, so it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He actually went to school with my uncles, and my kid's godfather they're somehow like I don't know how to say this because that's not how Black people say things, but they're ex-step brothers or whatever. Like their parents was together for a minute. And I'm like, the more you talk to people, the more you realize the people that that know everybody, and it's crazy. And then I met his son, so Tyler Jr., which we don't call him that, but Tyler, I met him separately, and then met his dad and met his mom, and his mom used to be married to my cousin. And I'm like, okay, it's getting smaller and smaller. Like it just take one person, and then it's just like, I know you in 7 different ways.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's Portland. Yes. All right. So, what's next? What can we talk about next? What do we have coming up? You have anything special? Do you guys ever do career fairs and things like that?
We do. We have career fairs.
Because I don't get invites.
Oh.
I apologize. That's not my department, but I will make sure that you get added on to that. I'm so sorry. But no, I'll make sure you get added on to that because we do have at least 2 people that take care of that throughout the year, and they do different workshops and stuff like that. So
yeah, I would love to at least share. For me, the trades that's all I preach is the trades, because it's just something I didn't hear about in high school or when it was time for me to make the decision on what to do next. Right. And so as often as I can get in front of young people and share opportunities, the better.
Well, we have a teen program at my community center. So I'd love to just have you come out and talk to them, just that group. We have about 50 to 75 kids that come in every single day, because we have the Floyd Light Middle School that we share actually a parking lot with, and then we have David Douglas that's like maybe a half mile away. So those kids are in our community center Monday through Friday. I'll say Monday through Thursday till about 7:30, and then Fridays till about 9:30.
Okay.
So I can always set up a time with the coordinator to have you come in, and before they do like their open gym, do like a gym talk with you for like maybe the first 30 minutes or how much time you feel you need. Or we have a classroom that they also have, which is a teen lounge. So we could set that up for you to talk to them in there or something like that too. And
absolutely.
Then maybe set up to go, because we have 5 different sites, so we go to separately, or we can pull them all together or something like that too.
Okay, and then there is a Oregon Tradeswoman Career Fair. Have you heard about it? It's taking place on May. Let me double check the date. Saturday. What day is that? The 17th. So it's taking place on the 16th and 17th. Is at our training center, which is located on 158th and Airport Way.
Okay.
We closed our training center down for those 2 days and set it up. And they have trades from everywhere. They have the fire department, the police out there, all construction, roofers, electricians, laborers, cement masons, like anything that you can think of. They've set up different workshops around our thing, and it's open on Saturday to the public.
Okay.
And it happens every year. It's honestly one of the biggest career fairs that take place, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. So there's parking available, but I love it because on Fridays it's opened up to schools. I think it's too late to register schools now, but school students come through, high school students, middle school students, doesn't matter. They come through and they get the whole day to themselves and they get to walk around. And there's a lot of hands-on activities with information about the different trades, just to give them something to kind of judge of what they might want to do, right? It gives them a little example. They get to get their hands wet or dirty or whatever. And then Saturday, again, it's open to the public. So any and everybody can come. It's for families. It's a good event. And again, it happens every May at our training center and it's put on by Oregon Tradeswomen, which is a nonprofit that works with women to introduce them to the trades and so that they can kind of find career paths that provide a sustainable living conditions. Like you can make, a 6-figure wage without having to do a ton of school. And go work in the trades and take care of your family without having to stress or wonder where, the next paycheck is going to come from. And so, I especially love to be able to tell people and bring in groups for that.
I would love to have the information.
Yeah.
And, and share that out for sure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So how do kids get involved in being, like you said, there's teens there all week? How do they have to go through some registration process? Is it like a selection process? Or
No, it's open to any teen who wants to be part of it. They go from ages 10 to 20, actually. So we actually want to support some of our young people even after they graduate because we know sometimes they haven't kind of made that choice. So we're going to still kind of keep our eyes on them, things like that. But yeah, it's just really just coming to fill out an application form that we just file so that we have your information, at the center. So if there's an emergency, we know who to contact, things like that. We print out a card for them so they can just scan when they come in. And so we just know when they're kind of, run tracking when they're coming in, things like that. But yeah, it's free to them. We actually have a leadership group that runs a student store in our lobby. And so they use all the proceeds to do special trips and things like that. But again, that's learning skills. So they're doing all the inventory. They're going to the store with the coordinator to buy the stuff. They're doing all the cash transactions and things like that. All the customer service, be it, their own counterparts or little kids coming out to swim lessons or adults, or seniors. But yes, couldn't cost them anything.
Okay.
Is that how most community centers work nowadays?
Yeah, anyone that has a Teen Force program, you just go in there and sign the application and get your card and you're good to go. And then your card is good at any of the Teen Force sites. The thing would just be on file at whatever place you signed your application, but it's good for all the Teen Force sites. So that would be East Portland, Matt Dishman, Charles Jordan, Mount Scott, Montevilla, and that we just recently, within like a year or a year and a half ago, added Southwest Community Center back to it. So actually 6 locations.
Okay.
That's
Matt
awesome.
Dishman was mine. That's where we went.
Yeah, that's where we went.
Yeah.
You should be up there working with your dad. I used to love, I was talking about that the other day. Like
He's still up there every Wednesday from 5 in the morning till 10 in the morning.
He used to be like, come up here, work out. Like that's where we went and worked out with Mr. Brown at Dishman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I saw him on Thursday. He said, we still live in the same place. You know that, right? I was like, oh, that means I ain't came by in a while. So I need to go on and
we try to have Saturday dinner together every Saturday, the family and us. So we at least get that time together. So yeah. So we were together yesterday.
Yeah.
And they come to the kids' games when they can.
I was telling her how the Browns house, growing up, being somebody who was just outside. There was nothing for me to be at home for, or maybe I needed to stay away from home just to be out of negativity or just stuff that was probably not good for you as a kid. And so I spent a lot of time at y'all's house. And I was telling her that, like, the Browns house was just like, it was like a family, a community, and you just came. All kids were welcome.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. They'd feed you. You go eat with the
she's like my sister. So.
Yeah, he talks about me all the time.
I sure do.
Yeah,
I always will. Always will. That's just how I show my love.
Right.
And I've been nice today. I haven't said anything
I
bad.
know. That's because you're on camera. That's
how you know it's
that's
a real
the only
brother
reason.
situation. Because like, I've been nice today.
I've been nice today.
Okay.
I've been very nice today.
That struck a chord in me. Because my brothers stay coming for me.
He on camera. That's why. He like, I can't
I
be-
send it
like,
through
I'm a
email,
good
through
dude.
text, in person.
Wow.
But I'm being good today. Actually, I saw when you text me, I saw the last emoji I sent you, and I said, oh.
That is funny.
But yeah, I love it.
That, the brother-sister relationship, whether it's by blood, by mud, or by love, that's my little saying, is a mess. Because I called my brother yesterday to tell him happy birthday. And he's like, what's up? What do you want? And I'm like, it's your birthday. Like, so since he was being who he is as a brother, he was like, if you guys, I said, we were calling to tell you something. He said, if you guys start singing, I'm going to hang up. I was like, wow. And then so because of that, his niece, who was very much so like him, was like, well, I was just calling to say Merry Christmas. And then because of that, then Donald was like, Happy Cinco de Mayo. And I was like, so you brought that. He's like, but I'll accept both of those as long as y'all are not singing. And I'm like, but I can sing though. So like, don't come for me. But then I was like, happy birthday, whatever, have fun. And he was like, okay. All of that's fine. I said, we're going to send you a voice memo later. And he said, it's funny that you think I'm going to listen to that. Yeah. I'm like, okay. They're brothers. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't even just call and just be like, hey, happy birthday without it being something else. So, yeah, that's interesting.
That's okay. It's all love.
It is, but it's funny. And then people, I feel like on the outside would be looking like, oh my God. I'm like, no, this is how there's a joke. My brother calls me on my birthday and asks me to go take him to buy a TV. Still to this day, because he turned 18, so I had to be turning 20. Him and my boyfriend at the time were walking around on my birthday like it was just a regular day. And I'm sitting here like, wow, like not a happy birthday or I don't fool with you because yesterday you drank my soda, like nothing, right? So I'm like, what the hell? My brother's getting ready to move out. And because my birthday is September 28th, so October 1st, him and his friend are, getting a place. And I'm like, wow. And he's like, can you take me to Target? And I said, oh, are you buying me something? He said, no, I'm going to get a TV. And I was like, is he serious right now? And then, so in my head, I'm like, is it like, are they planning a surprise party or something? Because that's usually why you ignore people on their birthdays. And I took him to Target to get a TV. We left. We came home. All this stuff by 8, 9 o'clock. I was like, well, forget both of them. I'm not about to remind y'all that it's my birthday. Like, y'all should know that. And then I guess they asked my mom why I had an attitude. My mom was like, did y'all tell her happy birthday? And they both was like, oh. So their birthdays was the 3rd and the 17th. Their birthdays is 2 weeks apart. They both Tauruses. And so then they want to come talking to me and apologize. Nah, the day is over. Y'all try again next year. So ever since then, and I am about to be 43. My brother calls me every year. It's like, hey, you think you can run me to Target to get a TV? Instead of saying happy birthday, it's like, I need a new TV. This one's like burning out. I'm like, forget you.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's his way of remembering now.
Right. Like he ain't forgot a birthday since.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I don't know. I don't take it personal when people don't remember my birthday. It's just another day. To me, at the end of the day, it's just another. My dad forget my birthday.
Most
my mom
people,
forget my birthday.
I wouldn't, but my brother and my man at the time, y'all should. We live in the same house. Me and my brother, it was only the two of us. Wasn't a whole bunch of birthdays to remember. It's yours, mine's, and mom's. Like, you know what I'm saying? As my significant other, you're supposed to know what my birthday is.
True.
I was hotter than fish grease that day. Like I didn't talk to them for I don't know how long.
There's one birthday my boyfriend forgot. Gabe. It was Gabe. He forgot. Well, I felt like he forgot. It was all day. It was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is he doing? Like all day. And at the end of the day, he brought out, he had this meal planned. And in my mind, I was like, your mom put this together. I was hot.
Yeah.
I was so mad. And he was like, he didn't forget, but he thought it was funny. Because that, and I was like, why do people do that?
I don't think that's funny.
That's not funny.
My wife has a very unique birthday, and I would never forget it, but she don't play that, so I would never play that game with her. I'm not doing that.
When's her birthday?
Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah, you forget that. You in trouble.
So I would be in so much trouble. So much trouble. So that is definitely never something I'm going to ever forget. It is on my radar January 1.
I mean, you can't help it.
Right.
It is on my radar. And it's two separate things. It is not a combined
Absolutely.
thing.
Just like a Christmas
It is Valentine's
baby.
and it is her birthday. It is two totally different things. So it is not combined.
Yeah.
It's not her fault that her birthday is on the same day as a recognized holiday.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's treated separately.
I've never thought that was fair for people who like, even my mom, like her birthday was July 6th. And so people will be like, oh, well, it's 4th of July. No, it's my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 4th of July. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because usually, like, if 4th of July is on a Friday, her birthday is on Sunday. So everybody want to wrap everything. Nope. And just like, yo, baby, like, no, Christmas and her birthday are not the same thing. Like, separate that out. I've never thought that was, I'm not a person that has to worry about that. But I'm also the kid that my birthday, well, school now starts in August. But, you know, my birthday is in September. So people are like, oh, we just had to buy school clothes and this, that. So nobody... You know, it wasn't a lot of presents for me because everybody had to buy school clothes for their kids, which as an adult I get, but as a child I'm like, okay. And y'all couldn't afford toys was cheap back when I was little. You know what I'm saying? When we were little, you know, $5-10 for a toy here or there. Like, okay, whatever. Yeah, or even just like show up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
For our son too. His birthday's December 27th. So on December 26th, everything Christmas comes down.
Yeah.
So that on the 27th, anything that he wants for his birthday goes up because it's separate. We're not going to have Christmas up on your birthday. It's not combined. You deserve to have something like everybody else. So 26th all comes down. 27th all your stuff goes up.
Mayana's birthday is the 26th.
Who's this?
Mayana.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we try to make sure we give her a birthday, but there's also we have another family member whose birthday is right after hers, and so. Oftentimes her birthday falls in between. It's like hard to separate. You don't want to do it the day after Christmas. You want to give people time because people ain't gonna show up. Everybody got family going on, and then she can't have a party. But then they have a party, and so oftentimes it's like either she can have a party or we gotta take her to that party. Either one, or we gonna miss that party and we gotta have a party on the same day. And she loves to go to that other birthday party, but she also want to have her own. Yeah. And every year. It's a struggle. It's like, well, we're going to have it on this day. Well, so-and-so's birthday is on that day. Okay. Well, we still having her party on this day because that's what's going to work for us.
Yeah, right. We run into that same thing because Jordan has a cousin whose birthday their same day, but they're 2 years apart. So it's all, we sometimes it's separate or sometimes combined, but it's just like, okay, who's doing their party when, you know, and we're trying to figure that out.
I don't mind combining birthday parties, you know, especially when the kids get along.
Yeah, they two peas in the pod. I mean, they get to the house and they gone. It's like, where we call them the 1227s. Where the 1227s at?
That's funny.
They gone.
That's funny. And we have a cluster in September, and it's the Virgos. So they did it to themselves. It ain't got nothing to do with us Libras, but it's a cluster of them. And we all have to kind of be like, well, when are you having? Because it's adults and it's kids. It's about 7 people born within like a 10-day span. And it's like, okay, one year, me and my cousin, we both had to keep rescheduling because we're trying to plan our kids' parties, but the adults are still planning their parties and the other people who we're not as close to, but it's like you still got to kind of go show your face. It was hard. And then our cousin passed away. And then so everybody canceled their parties because, you know, we had the funeral or whatever, and then trying to reschedule those. But now we're into the next season of birthdays. That was a hot mess. I think my uncle is probably the only one that doesn't mind his birthday falling on a holiday because, well, for one, it's not every year, but he's November 27th. Oh, that's so brother. He's okay with Thanksgiving being his birthday party. Like he's like, I don't care. Everybody's cooking. I'll see everybody. You know what I'm saying? So he has a good time with it. But my grandma was upset that the first when he was actually born, she was supposed to be going to a Tina Turner concert, but it was also Thanksgiving. So she cooked, got finished cooking, and then went into labor. So she, like, his whole life, she been pissed off at him, talking about, you gonna buy me tickets to go see Tina because I missed it because you want to bring your big head ass.
That's cool.
And I was like, funny. Wow.
That's kind of my mom around Thanksgiving when I was born. I think Thanksgiving was supposed to be on the 22nd, and I think I was like due on the 21st or something like that, but I came out on the 17th, so it allowed her to be able to get home and have Thanksgiving. So she was pretty happy about that she had to be in the hospital on Thanksgiving.
My grandma was pissed off. She's like, I didn't get to eat. I did all that cooking. I missed the concert. And I'm like, well, why would you be due and trying to go to a concert anyway? But whatever.
That's crazy.
Right.
That far along, that's crazy.
Well, she had plans and she didn't care.
She wanted to see Tina Turner.
And the crazy thing is, like, this is like,
she was a fan.
2 10th pregnancy. Like, you
Okay.
should have known when he was ready, he was coming out. Like, at this point, the more babies you have, supposedly, the easier it gets for them to pop out. So
10. Ooh.
Could you imagine? We got enough at home. 6.
I got 4. I'm good.
I only got 2. I could use a few more. I say that.
Yeah, you can have my 6.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about start from
They
scratch.
count.
No, they count. I already got them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
6.
We share custody, but they be at your house.
They gonna start coming to your house. All right, so let's pull our gems out for this episode here. I think for me the gem is helping the kids to find those skill sets that they have and really putting that on paper for them to figure out how to word it in a way to benefit them when it comes to them looking for jobs. Especially, Mariah, that's just been her. She just wants to work. She want to work to help pay bills. She want to work to have money for herself. She want to work so that she can fund all these things that she wants to do. Because I can't keep funding all this stuff. I gotta pay for the house and feed all of y'all,
right.
And that's all I got money for. And so, but helping them to really identify those skills and those things that they've done that they can put down on a resume so that they know they can get a job.
I think mine is going to go to taking that time for yourself. If I had the hours, I would take another week off because I didn't get to do what I needed to do. But I took, things happen how they're supposed to happen. I was taking this week off anyway, and I needed to use it to heal. I'm not 100%, but I'm okay enough to go back to work. You know what I'm saying? But taking that time to focus on yourself and heal yourself, and whether that's mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever, when you need to take that time to go ahead and take it. Because I didn't say last time I had a weird situation with the memorial with my dad or whatever. And then Monday, Tuesday, I went through some processing and I had like a couple good cries because, really letting it sink in that like my brother is really gone. I don't feel connected to my dad's family in a way that I feel like I should. And I know that because I'm not saying the other side of my family, like my dad's family, like it's even verbally, disconnected or whatever. But, just some processing I had to go through. And also with other like relationships and friendships and all the ships or whatever, really been taking this time. Like I didn't get to take care of myself in the way that I wanted to or that I planned to, but, still went through some stuff. And, if you don't do that, like if you don't take care of yourself, your body will make you take care of yourself. So I have learned to listen to like myself. I told my supervisor, I feel like I'm like seconds away from burnout, so I need to take some time off. And even though it didn't go how I wanted it to go, I feel like it went how it was supposed to go for, the time that I took off. And hopefully when I get back to work on Monday, I'll be all right. But if not, I'm like, hey, I'm out again. I'm sorry. I can't burn out. Because burnout at work turns into burnout at home. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I can't burn out on my kids, or myself, but especially them. They didn't ask, to be in this situation to have a frazzled, crazy ass parent. So I'm not trying to do that to them. So take care of yourself.
What's your
gym? Get a gym as well.
For me, is kind of going back to what Kanitha was saying. Is just our young people recognizing their transferable skills. So they can learn how to utilize that and put it on paper, but also to know that, trades are a very good thing to learn and be able to do, because college isn't for everybody.
Right.
A really quick story. I remember being at a job fair and this guy was an electrician, had been doing like a apprenticeship for 18 months and was talking about his job and what he had done. And I had done 4 years of college and had been, supervisor for like a couple years, and this dude was making more money than me. And I'm just like, I was just in my head, I'm just like what was I doing? Like, I just wasted 4 years and I'm in debt, and this dude like got his stuff paid for 18 months and he's making more. It's like, so just like there's options. So don't think, college is not the only option. There's trades out there. Find, what you have passion for, and go for it.
Yeah.
I like it. They sure don't tell everybody. That's what you out here doing.
Right. I be trying.
I never heard about the trades when I was growing up. It's like go college.
I knew in high school I wanted to do construction, but I didn't know where, how, who, what. I just I wanted to work with my hands. I wanted to build stuff. I wanted to work with tools. I didn't mind getting dirty. And there were no options. There was nothing out there that was just available information to say this is an option. You can go it this way. And so I like that. That's my job. I like my job is to go into the community and share that information with people who look like me.
Exactly.
Right. Because the diversity needs to change in the industry. And if I can be a part of that change, then so be it.
And I always knew. I wish, we say this all the time. It feels like we've known each other our whole lives, but I wish we had known each other because my mom was doing that. And she would have been the person who could have been like, hey, this is how you get into that. I don't know how my mom got into construction. She started as a flagger. And I think it was just like, hey, this is a good paying job or whatever. Let me do this. And then she ended up doing everything from electrical work to drywall, knocking out drywall, hanging drywall, installing floors. She could literally build a house. You know what I'm saying? If she wanted to. I'm sure there's some stuff she would need I don't think she ever did any plumbing work, but you know what I'm saying? She was all around doing all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, that's the thing. People are always going to be electricians and plumbers and all those type of things. I mean, you go back to COVID, what people were still working, the people in the trades, they were still making their money, still being able to provide for their families while everything was shut down. I mean, some of them probably money even boosted because so many people were stuck at home and I got these projects I can finally be at home to do.
Right.
So I mean, those are the ones making the money. And it's also something you can't ever lose. I mean, it's a skill set.
Right.
Right. Yeah, AI ain't taking over that. Not all of it. They taking over some. They finding ways, but we will still always have something to do.
Even if you can't physically, you can teach.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today on Talk to Them.
Where every story counts and every voice matters. I guess.
I don't know. We always ended. It sounds like a question.
Right.
Are we done?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Do they matter? They matter.
See you next time.
Bye.